In the entire rogues gallery of Western history, there is perhaps no name more infamous than Judas Iscariot. His name is not just a name, it's a synonym. It means traitor. He is the ultimate villain, the archetype of betrayal. The friend who sells his master for 30 pieces of silver, sealing the deal with a hypocritical kiss. For 2,000 years, across art, literature, and theology, his story has been unambiguous. He is the one disciple who failed, the son of perdition, a man so evil that his fate is eternal damnation. But what if I told you that this entire story, the one we all know, is just the official version? What if I told you that another ancient text existed, a text that was hunted, declared heresy, and ordered destroyed, a text that was lost to the world for 1,700 years that tells a radically different story? A lost gospel that claims Judas was not the villain, but the only disciple who truly understood Jesus. A text that claims Judas's betrayal wasn't a sin, but an act of supreme obedience, performed at the direct command of Jesus himself. What if I told you that in this other gospel, Judas Iscariot is the hero? This is the story of the Gospel of Judas, one of the most explosive textual discoveries of the 21st century. It's a document that forces us to question who wrote the history, what Christianity really was in its earliest, most chaotic centuries, and whether the greatest villain we know was, in fact, the victim of a theological character. Assassination. Before we can read the text, we have to understand the incredible story of its survival. This isn't a text that was preserved in a safe, quiet monastery library. It was found by chance, likely in the 1970s, by farmers digging in a cave near the cliffs of Jebel Karara, along the Nile River in Egypt. It was a single, damaged, leather-bound papyrus book, or codex. It had been buried in the dry sand for well over a millennium, but its journey had just begun. This priceless artifact, now known as the Codex Chocos, fell into the shady world of the illicit antiquities market. It was smuggled out of Egypt, passed from dealer to dealer, locked in a safe deposit box in New York for 16 years, and at one point, even stored in a home freezer, where the papyrus suffered catastrophic, irreversible damage. Finally, in the early 2000s, it was acquired by the Maecenas Foundation in Switzerland, who, recognizing its potential importance, assembled a dream team of Coptic scholars, historians, and preservationists to painstakingly conserve and translate the crumbling fragments, using radiocarbon dating on the papyrus and the leather binding. They dated the physical book to around 300 AD using linguistic analysis. They determined that the Coptic text was a translation of a much older Greek original, likely written sometime in the mid-2nd century AD, perhaps around 150 to 180 AD. And when they translated the text, they confirmed what some had only dreamed of. The title, written at the end, was clear: Evangelion Judas, the Gospel of Judas. This wasn't just any lost text. This was a text that we knew existed, because one of the church's most famous heresy hunters, Bishop Irenaeus of Lyon, had explicitly written about it in the year 180 AD in his massive work against heresies. Irenaeus angrily described a fictitious history created by a heretical group in which they declare that Judas the betrayer was thoroughly acquainted with these things, and that he accomplished the mystery of the betrayal. By him all things were thus thrown into confusion. For 1,700 years, everyone assumed this text was a footnote, a bizarre heresy, destroyed and forgotten. Suddenly, archaeologists were holding it in their hands. The heretics, silenced for millennia, were about to speak again. When you open the Gospel of Judas, the first thing you notice is that it is not a biographical narrative like Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. It doesn't tell the story of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection. Instead, it's a dialogue gospel. It's a collection of conversations and secret revelations given by Jesus to Judas in the last week of his life. And the tone is immediately, shockingly different. In this text, Jesus is almost contemptuous of the other 11 disciples. He repeatedly laughs at them. Why? Because he sees them praying to a God, and he knows it's the wrong God. In one scene, the disciples are giving thanks over bread, and Jesus laughs. "Why are you laughing?" they ask, offended. Jesus replies, "I am not laughing at you. You are not doing this through your own will, but because this is how your God will be praised." They are, in his view, ignorant. They are worshipping the lesser, flawed God who created the physical world, but not the true, transcendent God. But Judas is different. Jesus singles Judas out, saying, "Step away from the others, and I will tell you the mysteries of the kingdom. It is possible for you to reach it, but you will grieve a great deal. For someone else will replace you, in order that the 12 may again come to completion with their God." This text presents Judas as the only disciple who intuits Jesus' true, divine origin. He is the only one who has the gnosis, the knowledge, to understand who Jesus really is. He tells Jesus, "I know who you are and where you have come from. You are from the immortal realm of Babel, and I am not worthy to utter the name of the one who has sent you." Because Judas is the only one who understands, Jesus entrusts him with the ultimate, secret knowledge, and with it, the ultimate, terrible command. The climax of the text is a revelation from Jesus. He tells Judas that to complete his mission, he must be liberated from the physical body he wears. And then, he gives Judas the final instruction. "But you will exceed all of them," Jesus says, "for you will sacrifice the man that clothes me." The betrayal is reframed as the ultimate act of obedience. The 30 pieces of silver and the kiss are not mentioned. Instead, Judas, as the most loyal and understanding disciple, performs the necessary ritual of handing Jesus over to the authorities. This act allows Jesus' divine, spiritual self to be sacrificed, that is, liberated from the man that clothes me, the prison of his physical body. In the final scene, Judas leads the authorities to Jesus, and the text simply ends. The other disciples are left in ignorance and anger. Judas is the only one who has fulfilled the mystery of the betrayal. He is the Gnostic hero. To make any sense of this, we have to understand the radical, non-orthodox worldview that produced it. This text is a pure expression of Gnosticism. Gnosticism was a diverse set of religious and philosophical movements that flourished in the 2nd and 3rd centuries, parallel to proto-Orthodox Christianity. While there were many different Gnostic myths, most shared a core set of beliefs that were the exact opposite of the emerging Orthodox faith. 1. The bad creator god. The Gnostics were dualists. They believed there was a true, ultimate, good God. This God was a pure, unknowable, transcendent spirit of light. This God did not create the world we live in. They believed our world, the physical, material universe, was a cosmic mistake, a prison. It was created by a lesser, flawed, and often evil God, a bungling craftsman. This lesser God they called the demiurge. And who was this demiurge? For many Gnostics, it was the God of the Old Testament, the God of Genesis who creates a flawed world, who is jealous, who gives arbitrary laws, who demands bloody sacrifices. That, they said, is not the true Father of Jesus. 2. The body as a prison. Because the physical world is an evil prison, the human body is also an evil prison. We are not body and soul. We are divine sparks of light from the true, good God, who have fallen and become trapped inside these garments of flesh created by the demiurge. 3. Salvation is gnosis knowledge. In this system, our fundamental problem is not sin in the sense of moral transgression. Our problem is ignorance, agnosia. We are divine royalty, asleep in a pigsty, suffering from amnesia. We have forgotten who we are and where we came from. Therefore, salvation is not about being forgiven for our sins. Salvation is about being awakened. It's about receiving the secret, liberating gnosis knowledge that reminds you of your true, divine origin. 4. The Gnostic Jesus. Now, the story makes sense. The Gnostic Jesus is not the son of the Old Testament Creator God. He is a divine messenger sent from the true, good God who exists outside this flawed system. His mission is to sneak into the prison and deliver the secret gnosis to the other trapped divine sparks. But this Jesus, being a pure spirit, cannot truly be part of the filthy material world. Gnostics were largely Docetists, from the Greek dokein, to seem. They believed Jesus only appeared to be human. He was a phantom, a divine projection wearing a garment of flesh, and this completely redefines his death. For Orthodox Christianity, the crucifixion and physical resurrection are everything. It is the moment God, in the flesh, dies for sin. For the Gnostics, the crucifixion was an illusion, or at best, an irrelevance. A divine spirit cannot be killed on a physical cross. The only thing that mattered was liberating that spirit from the body. And that is Judas's heroic role. He is the only one who understands that the body is a prison. The other disciples, still praying to the lesser God, are horrified by the idea of death. But Judas understands. He performs the necessary, difficult act of sacrificing the man, allowing the divine Jesus to finally escape his flesh prison and return to the realm of light. The betrayal is a liberation. The Proto-Orthodox Church, the movement that would become Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy, was led by heresy hunters like Irenaeus. When they looked at Gnosticism, they didn't see a deeper Christianity. They saw a completely different religion that was a mortal threat to their faith. Irenaeus and the other church fathers fought back against Gnosticism on every single point. 1. They attacked dualism. Irenaeus insisted there was one God. The God of Genesis is the father of Jesus. The physical world is not an evil prison. It is a good creation that God loves and will redeem. 2. They attacked Docetism. They insisted that Jesus was truly human. He was incarnate, made flesh. He really ate, really suffered, and really died. If he only seemed to die, his sacrifice was a charade, and our salvation is a lie. 3. They attacked the elitism of Gnosis. Gnosticism was for an elite few who received the secret knowledge. The Orthodox insisted that the Christian message was public, open, and for everyone. Salvation comes not from secret passwords, but from public faith in the death and resurrection of Christ. 4. They attacked the Gnostic Gospels. The Gnostics were producing a flood of new Gospels, claiming they were secret teachings. In response, Irenaeus and the Church began to formally define the canon. They insisted on only 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Why? Because these, they argued, were the oldest, most reliable, and most widely accepted texts, with direct links to the public ministry of the original apostles. The Proto-Orthodox side didn't just win by having better arguments. They won by being better organized. They created a three-part fortress. 1. A defined canon, the four Gospels, to reject secret texts. 2. A common creed, early versions of the Apostles' Creed, to define correct belief. 3. A centralized authority, the system of bishops, to enforce that belief. After Christianity was legalized by Emperor Constantine in the 4th century, this theological debate became a political one. Heresy became a crime. Gnostic texts, once just wrong, were now illegal. They were ordered to be seized and burned. This is why the Gospel of Judas was lost. It wasn't misplaced. It was hunted. Some unknown Gnostic monk, rather than see his sacred texts destroyed, buried them in a jar in the Egyptian desert, where they lay in silence for 1,700 years. The discovery of the Gospel of Judas is, without question, one of the most important finds in biblical history. It has opened a stunning window into the lost, diverse, and chaotic world of early Christianity. It proves that the Christianity we know was not the only version. It was the winner of a long and bitter conflict. But this discovery leaves us with a profound and deeply polarizing debate. On one side, argument A: is the Gospel of Judas a suppressed truth? Is this a genuine, alternative, perhaps even more mystical and philosophical version of Jesus' message that was violently crushed by a literal-minded, politically motivated, authoritarian church that was more interested in controlling the narrative than in spiritual truth? Does this text rightfully restore Judas as the hero who understood the real, anti-material, spiritual message of Jesus? On the other side, argument B, or is the Gospel of Judas just ancient fan fiction? Is it a late, 2nd century text written by a fringe, Greek-influenced philosophical group, the Gnostics, that had almost nothing to do with the historical, 1st century Jewish rabbi from Galilee? Did they simply hijack the famous biblical characters, Jesus, Judas, the disciples, and use them as puppets in their own theological play? A play that radically rejected the Jewish foundations of Jesus' actual world, a good God, a good creation. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts, respectfully, in the comments below. If you found this deep dive into one of history's greatest religious mysteries fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that uncovers the hidden stories and forgotten battles that shaped our modern world. Thanks for watching.